accidentally choked in with all the spices that went in this, but you know, you gotta suffer for good food sometimes. But I did not set the fire alarm off yet. It smells really good. Before we are done, I have a special treat. Hey peeps, welcome back to the vlog. My name is Drew and today we are going to be doing something that I have to do literally all the time because we are constantly moving houses. I am constantly trying to use up every single bit of food I have. So I might have a little bit of a problem with reduced items and picking them up because when they're such a good price, I just want them so bad. Then by the end of our trip, it's kind of like, you bought too much food and you need to eat it. I was a little bit worried we weren't going to have enough food, but now that I'm looking at it, we only have 2 or 3 days left. 3 days-ish. I think we might have enough food. We will see. I'm going to try to use the pantry, see how creative I can be with our meals, and see if there's anything good we can make. Here's the entire haul. So we'll start on this left side. We have rice and then potatoes down here, parsnips. Then we bought all this garlic for 11 cents for 2 of them. So we have garlic, a tomato, lettuce, a lemon that was given to us that I don't know how to use, but we're going to try to. A half cucumber, an apple, and in this bucket is green apples. And it frosted over, so we tried to pick as many apples as we could, but we're going to try to do something with those, even though I don't think they're as sweet as I would like. Oop, let's focus this baby. We have 136 grams of flour or something like that left, some bread, 10 of red kidney beans, a little bit of lard, 30 grams, some onion. We have these Yorkshire puddings, which I'm like, what am I going to do with those? Broccoli florets, carrots, because carrots are always on sale and reduced, and we can't help ourselves. 4 or 5 vegetable cube stocks. We have a little bit of curry right here that I have from Vietnam. Some yeast, rice, a little over 700 grams of rice. Then we have bran flakes, which I can't remember how much was left, but not very much. We have some porridge, oats, pretzels from the US that we'll see if they get used. If not, they're just a really good snack. Bananas. I cut up this cauliflower right here. So we have some of that, and I use the inside of that for another recipe. We still have this tomato sauce, which needs to be used. It's pasta sauce. And then this is gravy I made, and it looks absolutely terrible, but it is absolutely delicious. Oh, and these kiwis that are unripe. It says ripen at home, but we've had them for like a week, and they're not ripe yet. So who knows when those are going to ripen up. They may come with us. Here's all our food. Let's see what we can make. The first thing we're going to make is a parsnip curry. And we're going to see how this goes, but I think the parsnips will have a lot of starch in them and give it a good, decent curry texture. First, we're going to start by chopping up our onions, garlic, and tomato. I actually prefer a little bit bigger garlic chunks just because you can really taste them in what you're cooking. So I keep them a little bit bigger. We're going to grate up the apple and the carrots, then we'll chop up our veggies later on. All we have left of our apples and carrots are these little tidbits, and I'm not going to chop my finger off to get those grated. Put a little bit of lard in. I bought this garam masala 2 for £1, and it's 100 grams, I think, per one. So we have lots of that. So I'm going to use some of that, and then I'm going to use my Vietnamese curry powder and half a chicken or vegetable stock cube. Let those toast up. After the garlic and onion, we're going to throw the tomatoes in, saute those down with the carrots and the apple. Then we're going to throw our pasta sauce in and let them cook down for a little bit before we grind that all together, and then add our vegetables. While our garam masala mixture is breaking down and getting thick and nice, and the parsnips are getting cooked through. They're not quite cooked, as you can see yet. We're going to start on the apples. I worked on getting the carrots, and then there's broccoli under here, if you can see it, and then cauliflower ready to put in that. But right now, we're going to start chopping apples. So I accidentally choked Yen with all the spices that went in this, but you know, you gotta suffer for good food sometimes. We got a lot of apples in here, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put these on the stove, put a little water in them, just so when it cooks down, like they don't burn on the bottom. Turn this on. We'll turn it to high for right now. Put the lid on. I don't know if they'll need sugar yet. Normally when fruit is really ripe and in season, they don't need sugar, but with these not being as ripe, they might need a little sugar. I'm just going to go ahead and cook them all the way down for probably 30 or 40 minutes on the stove, and then see after that if they need sugar. Our parsnips got done in our curry mixture, so I'm going to go ahead, add it to our measuring cup, and then we're going to immersion blend it up. We do not want to splash ourselves, that's for sure. Oh gosh, oh no. Oh gosh, okay. I made mistakes per usual. Impatience. Impatience. It looks like it's actually really nice and thick, so I'm probably going to have to add some more water once we put it back in the pot. And then I'm going to add my veggies and simmer that down until we're ready for lunch. I added our curry mixture back to the pan. I added some water, so you can see it's more runny now, and a little bit of salt. I also added a little bit of salt to the apples, and to get some of this liquid off the apples, I just opened the lid and I'm going to let it simmer and get some of that steam off of it. Now I'm going to add the veggies back into our thing, turn it on, and then let that simmer for 20-30 minutes till it's done. We have our curry ready. I put rice under mine, but you could always do mashed potatoes as well because we have extra of those. So maybe because I have so much curry, I will put this on mashed potatoes later. I'm going to try the curry for now. Has some really decent flavor. I thought it might be a little sweet, but it's actually not. My curry powder is very spicy, so it has a very decent spice on it. And then it's just like sweet enough, I think, to balance that out. With the flavor of the garam masala, which has some sweeter spices in it, it's absolutely delicious. Let me try it with some rice. It's very good. Wow. With the rice, it's just perfect. Okay, let's not be afraid to put apple in our curry. Oh, I saw this person, because you know I said I don't like to use lemon. They said to put lemon on curry. I'm just going to put it on a little part right here and see how we're feeling about that. Maybe the extra acid will do us some good or something. Give me some rice. Okay. I don't not prefer it. So I think I'm going to use a quarter of my lemon to put on my curry right now. But before we are done, I have a special treat. I put these little Yorkshire puddings into the air fryer and I was like, oh, look, we can eat curry on a Yorkshire pudding. How fun. Okay, yes. Yorkshire pudding with curry, definite yes. The crispiness of this, now they go soggy like so fast, but Mm. Mm-mm-mm. This may be the best way I've liked this Yorkshire pudding so far. Do they actually eat Yorkshire pudding with curry here in England? I would not be surprised at all. Let me know in the comments below. This little baby, I put our apple topping. You can see it's very like broken down. It's more like an apple saucy type thing. I did try it and added probably a tablespoon of sugar to it because my apples were so unripe. But if you have ripe apples, I don't really think you need sugar, but if you want to add a little, you can. But I thought I would try it as a dessert on the Yorkshire pudding. And I put so much, it's going to make a huge mess. That's really something I would do. I like the curry and the Yorkshire pudding a little bit better, but this is not too shabby of a dessert. Mini apple pie. Just a little quick PSA for the people. Yin and I both will be eating this food, and so I'll try to keep you updated along the way if the things go away and it wasn't cooked, because Yin could have eaten it, I could have eaten a snack or whatever, and so I'll just try to keep you all updated and tell you what's happening. Just got back from the Christmas tree lighting, which was so exciting. We did make it in time, but my phone was like 2 seconds from when the tree actually lit because I was just like a little too late. So you just got to see the final product, but it was fun. There's lots of stalls, all these different people, and they were singing Christmas carols, and it was a lot of fun. So to make my dinner life simple, there are very few pleasures I have in life, but mashed potatoes, gravy, and any kind of vegetable is a huge pleasure for me. So instead of making all this fancy meals, I just made mashed potatoes, carrots, and gravy for dinner. And the carrots work really well with the gravy because it's salty and they're sweet. So it's going to be a good dinner. But we'll see y'all in the morning. Oh, also Yen ate some bread today. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I had to take some off. It's a day. So you should like and subscribe down below. I got up too late to make anything for breakfast special. So we're hungry and we have to eat now. And you know how they say it's just the tip of the iceberg? Well, you can only see the tip of how much apple I put in there. I put in like a third of that container and it all sunk in my oatmeal, but you can put pumpkin pie spice in here. That would be really nice. I added cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger to my oatmeal, but that's what we are going to have for breakfast. Today is the day we are going to use the oven, and to not waste the oven, I am going to prepare 2 different things at one time. We're going to make banana bread and stuffing balls today. Last night at the grocery store, we couldn't help ourselves. We got these spring onions for 19 pence, and they look pretty good. There's a few little bad spots, but 19 pence reduced. And then we were extra bad and bought 2 loaves of reduced bread for but 30 pence. That is so crazy, but we'll take that with us because we will definitely need bread and it'll be a good snack on the way and have sandwiches and stuff on the way. I told you I was a sucker for reduced items, and here we are. I'm going to chop up our vegetables. We're going to use the rest of the cauliflower. Move those. 2 carrots. We only have 1 carrot left. I'm so surprised. Garlic. And then with the cucumber and lettuce, I'm going to chop those up while I'm chopping vegetables for tonight. The first thing we're going to do is saute down our vegetables and toast our bread. Once that is done, we will combine the mixture. Along with the mixture, we might add a few seasonings along the way. Form them into balls to put them on the pan, and we'll pop them in the oven at around 400 degrees Fahrenheit to make sure they brown up a little, and they should be good to go. So the food processor was a little bit too small for my mixture, so I'm gonna just knead it by hand and get it all mixed. And the rest of my breadcrumbs here. While I form my stuffing into balls and put them on the pan, I'm also going to put a little bit of lard on the pan to stop it from sticking. But I'm going to put our bananas on the stove because they're not quite as ripe as I wanted. I'm going to like grill them up a little bit so they get a little bit more of their sweetness out because I'm not putting any sugar in. So it needs to be a little bit sweet. Turns out heating up bananas on the stove is a little bit more complicated than anticipated, but I did not set the fire alarm off yet, so that's the key. We're going to set these aside and get started on our banana bread. To make our banana bread, we're going to add our toasty bananas to our bowl, mash them up, then we're going to measure out how much flour we have and put about the same amount of oats just to get it a little bit more bready consistency. Exactly 125 grams of flour. All the oats we have left. I think I'm going to do like 1/3 of a teaspoon of baking soda. No idea. Maybe a little more. I feel like it needs to be a little more. Then a squeeze of lemon. After that, we're going to add as much water as I need. I'm not even for sure yet. And then it should be ready to put in the pan and in the oven with the stuffing balls. I made it kind of like cake batter consistency. I have no idea. So you see it's a little bit jiggly, but I have no idea actually what I'm doing. And I tasted the batter and it's not super sweet. So I would highly recommend being able to ripen your bananas more. But for us, it is what it is. And it should taste okay anyways. If it bakes fine. We'll see. I'm obviously winging this. Are y'all ready for this? They have little crispy bits on them, little breadcrumbs sticking out. One thing I did wrong on my Thanksgiving video was not make the inside of these moist enough, and so I actually kept these a little bit more moist, especially with the cooked veggies. I left all their liquid in. I think it makes a big difference. Wait. I was going to have these with gravy. Hold on. I think the flavor profile of these really comes out depending upon what veggies you put in. And I put in lots of those spring onions, so that's really coming out. But then the carrots make it a little bit sweet. So the gravy will probably be delicious. Let's take one of these babies. Oh, it dropped in the gravy. Oops. It didn't hurt it, let me tell you. Look, the sun's out. This is way better than what we're about to do. I am going to say the bread was looking way better when I first took it out of the oven, and then it fell flat. So, I don't even know if it got done. I'm just going to break it in half. See, look, bad things happened at some point. It smells really good. It smells like banana. My stuff in my teeth. It did fall flat because I probably didn't use enough baking soda, which I kind of thought, but sometimes when I use baking soda, it tastes like baking soda, so I did not want that to happen, and it's a very small loaf. It kind of tastes like I'm eating oatmeal bread. Like oatmeal in bread form. I don't know how to describe that. Like if I were to make oatmeal on the stove and then somehow lumped it into a bread form, this is what I have. It's not quite sweet enough, so I would say definitely get the bananas riper and maybe use one more banana. I would prefer 3 bananas and it'd be a lot sweeter, but I don't think you really need sugar unless you just don't have enough banana. But it's just a little wet still. It's like it literally made oatmeal in bread form. I don't know how else to describe that. It's really not bad. It's just odd. Like, oops. Sometimes when I laugh, I hiccup. It's not bad. It's just kind of dense and sticky. I'll eat it. A little more flour, a little more baking soda. This baby would have been probably really good. We're going to have a very simple dinner of beans, rice, leftover vegetables. I'm going to immersion blend these up and then add spices to them. If you don't have an immersion blender, I never have an immersion blender, and that's why I'm using it. But if you don't have one, I just heat them up in the microwave, put some water, and mash them up and make mashed beans with it, and then put it over my rice. So, let's get hopping. And yes, I'm still stuck with the bad can opener. Let's go rinse these off. Before we blend it up, we're going to add salt, pepper, cumin, garlic powder, and a few chili flakes. And then we're going to immersion blend it up. I will admit that the red kidney beans look absolutely terrible mixed up. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that this looks not very appetizing, but it's going to taste good because I have this all the time. The only thing that would make this better is, one, if I didn't use the tomato yesterday and would have thought ahead, I would have had the tomato with this, but salsa on this would be top notch. Yin was nice enough to make us rice earlier, so that's why we have rice right now. She made the rest of our rice so we can eat that. I warmed up the rice and beans together. Then for like 45 seconds, I put the onions in and then heat that up with the rice and beans so that the onions get their fragrance all throughout it. And then I put my fresh veggies on. So this is one of my favorite meals. You should try it. Good morning, people. Today we're just going to have leftovers because I have to pack, clean, do a lot of stuff for getting ready to go. By the end of the day, I'll show you all what we have left. The only thing that's not leftovers, but it is leftovers combined, is this. And I toasted up the banana bread in the toaster, which, by the way, it got better because of the toasting on that. It's really good. But I put the apple compote with the bran flakes on top, because I haven't really ate the bran flakes, but last night I had it just in a bowl as dessert by itself because they're really super sweet. So I thought with the apple compote, which isn't like the sweetest thing in the world, we'll put it on top of banana bread and see crunchy element. It actually does work well with the apple compote because it's sweeter and the banana bread's a little sweet. So it actually works pretty well. The banana is so delicious. I love the flavor of banana bread. I'm gonna have to show Yin and tell her she might love it because I don't combine things. I just eat things plain all the time. And so she'll be like super shocked with me. By the end of the day, I'll show you what we have left before we travel. If you stick around to the end, you will get to see a little bit of the English countryside on the train. But for now, this is all the food we have left. I think I did a wonderful job in getting rid of most of our leftovers. I think this was a success. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate that. Let's go out and make the world 1% better today, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.